And as many of you guys may know, carbon fiber could literally give you a heart attack looking at some of these prices. Spending $200, $500, $800, $1,000, if not more, on just getting a little piece of carbon. And knowing my broke ass can't afford it, nor do I want to spend that money, I thought to myself, how can I make it cheaper? And what I did by that was no, not going on eBay. I actually ended up thinking about how can I make it? And in this video, we're gonna be talking exactly about how to make the carbon fiber and how to make it unique to you. So a lot of the things that you guys might be seeing in this video are just complete off ball and like, why the fuck did you even do that? Or be like, oh, good idea. I like what you did there. And there's gonna be a lot of mixing pieces within that to hopefully help you guys out there who wanna add some carbon fiber pieces on your car yourself, especially if you have an idea for your car. We're gonna be actually doing the side skirts and also the rear valence diffuser on the car in carbon fiber, which I'm not going to be showing a lot of the side skirts. And if you want to check more on that, you have to check the community section within this YouTube page to see a little bit more updates on those side skirts, which again, I have no experience with this whatsoever, but at the same time too, it was a great and awesome lengthy process to be able to learn and grow from there. Without further ado, let's jump right into today's video. So what we have right here is 1/4-inch polycarb material, and this is what we're going to be using to cut out the side skirts, as well as the little rear valence guards that are going on the rear end of the bumper. And this is what the original ones look like. They were just beat to hell, they're warped, and this was actually Central board that I was using on them, and it's not the best material to use. But the original ones over here were not the prettiest, and as you can see, this thing, it looks like it's just beat to hell. Does not look good at all. But luckily we have an awesome man named Ivan over here that's gonna tell you guys exactly what we're gonna do in order to cut these out.
Here we go, we got some parts for Logan right here. We're gonna do 2 sets of the skirts. We got the little pieces right here set up, and we got the bigger pieces right here set up. Everything's gonna be cut up in one sheet, and we're just about to send it over so that the computer can pretty much take over and do its thing. Right here I'm surfacing the table, that way the machine knows how deep to cut. So right there the machine knows exactly how much material we got to work with. We don't want to cut those skirts super loud.
You're too loud.
Too loud! Here we go, action time.
For anybody who doesn't know Ivan, he's the fist pump master, because you could have any conversation with him in the first like 20 seconds of any conversation on, he'll just continue giving you fist pumps. You'll be like, thank you, my brother, fist pump. How you doing, my brother? Fist pump. It's just a fist pump battle with him.
This world needs more fist pumps.
The world definitely needs more fist pumps. Jacob and I, we have this thing where we can only do 3 claps a day, where if you don't have a good clap, like this one we're gonna have right here, it's gonna be perfect right here. Oh, that was horrible. So we have 2 left for the day. So if those other 2 aren't good, we have to wait till tomorrow to be able to have a better clap, because we need that thunder.
Thunder!
Nice ring you got there.
Yes, sir. I got it at
O'Reilly's.
Oh yeah, O'Reilly's.
Like, look at this shit. This is what was on the car before. Like, come on. We went from this to this.
One eternity later.
So now that we have these pieces cut, we're gonna be wrapping these in carbon fiber weave. This stuff looks absolutely gorgeous, and this is the same stuff I use on the inside of the interior of my car. And I've never really had a project that, I'll be honest, that might be this easy, mainly for the fact when I did wrap stuff, I decided I want to take a complete U-turn and go wrap the hardest things you possibly can. Luckily, this is flat, so it should be a lot easier to work with. We're going to be using the epoxy resin as well as a hardener once we lay everything down and everything is ready to go. But first, before we do that, we want to make sure that we lay some tape down all across exactly where we want to lay it down, because when we start to cut it, we don't want any of the fabrics pulling away from each other. So we have to lay a piece of tape down to the angle that we'd like it. Then once we do that, we can use the scissors and cut around that tape. The reason why that this one has all these weird lines in it, because I tried something new and used super glue. Might not recommend that, but I have found that it does stick a little bit better for this material that I'm using. But other than that though, we're gonna show you guys a little fast-paced motion of exactly how this is all gonna work, and I think it's gonna look really good. way that I did it is just a little bit different compared to what other people might do. And what I found that was easiest best for me was by using this Gorilla Spray adhesive heavy duty spray glue. Those are just a lot of words to put in my mouth. But I found that was easiest for me because I was able to wrap the glue all the way across the top, so I could wrap this carbon weave all around the edges to make it easier for me when I do lay down the resin. I'm able to wrap it around nice and tight, so all I have to do is just drop the resin down and have that nice clean finish that I would hope to have when this is all said and done. One of the most important steps we're going to need to take in order to make this carbon fiber look as best as it possibly can is to make sure that we're going to use this epoxy resin as well as this hardener in order to mix everything up together to be able to get that one smooth surface all the way across the top that you would normally see in carbon fiber. The reason why we need the hardener and the resin is because if you don't have the two in the right mixture, then it's just not going to work to its full potential. And you don't want to have any air bubbles in this at all. And the reason why is if you add air bubbles, you're going to see the air bubbles within the carbon fiber, and that's the last thing you want, because you want this to look as best as you possibly can. But when we do mix this, we want to make sure we mix it for about 3 to 5 minutes, because that gives it a little bit more of a curing time. From there, we're just going to drizzle it all the way across the tops and the sides and let it sit for about 24 hours. And the reason why you want to let it sit for about 24 hours, because if you let it sit for too short of time, it's not going to cure fast enough. I am not a professional at this whatsoever. I've only done this about twice, and the 2 times I did it, I definitely needed a lot of practice, and trust me, I did it a lot harder than I should have, because the issues that I ended up running into with mine, and I ended up feeling like I did a pretty good job for what I was trying to do, but the overall picture of it and the idea was cool, but you can kind of notice the issues along with it. It's with this one, you can see right here that I left a little bit of a hump right here. It was when I left the resin to sit too long and I didn't fix it fast enough. And so you can see that this is not the most smoothest surface, and all across here you can start seeing it got a little rough with a little bit of air bubbles, and I kind of rushed it and didn't take my time. I ended up sanding this down, wet sanding it, polishing it, doing as best as I possibly can, and unfortunately it didn't turn out as best as it could. But this is the very first one I did, and yes, it does look rough here too, but again, you gotta also look at it here too. These are my very first ones I tried, so I didn't expect the greatest results, but they're not the most horrible thing to look at all. Compared to like this, for example, which I ended up buying online, and it definitely looks a lot better than what I did here. I found out when you start with one of the hardest things, like for example, the steering wheel or even the door locks that I have here, it kind of gives you some practice to wrap around the edges, but definitely doing a flat surface like how we're gonna do here should be a lot easier in order to put the resin down, because it has nowhere to go around creases or anything like that, with the exception of maybe right along these edges.
"72 hours later."
Quick little update, I ended up sanding this down, as you guys can clearly see, and the reason why I ended up sanding this down because it had a little bit of air bubbles in it, and it's probably because I ended up adding the wrong mixture, or I didn't get all the air bubbles out prior to dumping it down, because I was either in a rush or I just didn't do it properly. Again, having a little bit of bubbles, as you can kind of see in the reflection of this light. It was a lot worse before, but I ended up sanding this down because I want to get this as smooth as I possibly can, and I'm debating between if I should add another coat on this after I sand everything, or if I should just sand it down the best as I possibly can and then just go from there and just polish it up and make it look nice. So I'm debating it. We'll see how it goes, because I really don't want to go through this process all over again. But I still got a lot of work to do before this is even put on. I told myself I was not going to throw on these carbon pieces until I throw on the side skirts, and that just really did not live up to the truth, and I just had to see this. I was impatient, and I want to look at how they look on the car, and I can't tell you how awesome they look. I am so proud and how pleased I am with how these pieces turned out, and I saved myself a bunch of money by just throwing on these pieces and trying it out myself. I think overall I spent $150 just in the carbon weave alone, $60 for the hardener and the resin. And these are also including the side skirts I'm going to be working on here soon. But for about, let's just say, under $100 to work on all this, including that, which accumulate to a little over $150, that is completely worth it to me. And I'm so proud that I was able to make something that I came up with and just say, you know what, I want to tweak it to my own liking. And by adding the carbon fiber that I have really no experience with whatsoever, as you guys can clearly see from some of those footage pieces of all the little air bubbles and everything in it. Yes, they are not perfect, but that's how you live and that's how you learn. Just to compare the two, this is the one I made previously, and don't get me wrong, I like this one a lot. I like the black on top with the white line to match the outside of the car. But when I look at this, it pops out, but it does not pop out as much as this one does. This one just looks crazy to me. I am still beyond shocked that I was able to create something of this magnitude. Clearly, this is not the proper way to make carbon fiber pieces, because you want to be able to make a mold, you want to be able to wrap the weave in there, and et cetera, et cetera. I kind of did it the getaway a little bit. But other than that, though, the overall picture of it, I'm happy with how it did turn out, and it definitely looks like the real thing. And what I do like about it, and a lot of people might not, but I like the little imperfections that you're going to see in the weave a little bit. And the reason why I like that is because it makes it feel like it's more natural, and it feels like it's like not fake. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I've gone through like 20 different outfit changes prior to this video, because I've gone through, this video took literally 2 months to make. It's not even that good of a video, but it literally took 2 months.
My boy is a smacker.
All of the above. Anyways, we'll see you guys in the next. That was horrible. That was horrible.
Logan, I literally took a hit in 2 seconds before you started.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys learned anything, please leave it down in the comment section if you have any more questions, and we will see you guys in the next one.